After no exam, how confident were you na pasado ka?
Ay, hindi. Para ka nasa purgatorio. 6 months kang in cloud 9 or na hindi mo malaman kung nasa langit ka na o nasa impyerno ka na. Hassle, man.
Kung judge ako, baka makamot ulo na lang ako sa ganung
Magagalit talaga. I mean, it's just a waste of time. It's hard when you say immediately the truth and the bare truth to a person. In politics, they would get mad at you. But the candidate should tell first, what are the problems right now?
Right.
The officials that we are bound to elect next year are the same people who would talk for us. Kapag ang pinili mo magre-represent sa atin dahil pogi lang o magaling kumanta,
Sumasayaw pa yung iba.
sumasayaw pa. City of Manila is now burdened with a serious problem. What I heard, the city is burdened with billions of loans. Taxes that we pay, ito totoo lang, opinion lang, are taken away by corruption, graft, and what is left shall go to only to those underprivileged who doesn't pay their taxes. So kanino nagbi-build up ang burden? Sa balikat ng working class. Everybody's concerned about themselves. How would they earn for themselves? How would they benefit for themselves? Regardless of what happens or the consequences with others.
Hey guys, what is up? Nako, matagal-tagal, hindi ko alam kung dahil ba sinasabayan lang natin yung NBA off-season, babalik tayo. But yes, no, thank you guys. You're watching Title Zone, the #1 podcast for Filipinos who want to make an impact. We've been on a break, but we're back, no? So, this is actually the first episode of our second
Season 2 na.
season.
Sabihin na natin Season 2.
Season 2.
Para ano?
Just in case you forgot, my name is Nix, and my co-host,
My name is Kelvin, aka The Kelvinator. So yun, wala akong iba pang aka yun kasi matagal kami nawala. But yun, sobrang excited nga ako sa episode ito kasi unang episode to ng Season 2. Kunwari, Season 2. Pero totoo, nagpahinga lang talaga kami. So yeah, first time din namin mag-guess ng a political person or sabihin natin under a political dynasty. Kasi pamilya nila, kilalang kilala sa hometown namin, Sampaloc, Manila. Shoutout Sampaloc. So yeah, none other than Attorney Bimbo Quintos.
welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. At good day to you, Nix and Calvinator. Parang ano yun Parang panahon namin, parang Frigidaire.
Hanggang ngayon, medyo sikat pa din na
Pati aircon.
Aircon
nag-expand na.
Nice name.
Well, yes, welcome to the show, attorney. So, I think ang magandang start natin is pakilala ka sa audience natin. Sino ba si Attorney Bimbo?
Well, si Attorney Bimbo. Well, actually, one very interesting about me is my name. My name kasi marami kami. Well, my true name, the one that's appears in my birth certificate, is Eduardo Quintos XVI. I do have this XVI, the Roman numeral, at the end of my name.
16.
Why, no? It so happened that from my grandfather and all his descendants, yung mga anak niya na lalaki, tapos yung mga apo niya na lalaki, dun sa anak niyang lalaki, were named after him. The original is General Eduardo Quintos. I came from, I was raised, I was born, and I grew old in my district, in our district, actually, Sampaloc, we call it Sampaloc. It is a District 4 of the City of Manila. I'm a lawyer. I became a lawyer in 1998. I had a degree before becoming a lawyer. I finished my studies in UP, acquiring a bachelor degree in political science and a little bit of master's in taxation. Which is very boring for a lot of people. But in government, that is very, very, very critical. Before I entered politics, I was able to win, fortunate enough, nakachamba noong 2010. I became a councilor, city councilor in 2010 and 2016. But right now, I'm back in my court litigation, appearing in courts, especially for doon sa mga walang pambayad ng abogado. Alam mo yung marami kasi sa ating mga kapitbahay, kaibigan, who gets charged they cannot afford the services
Yes.
of a lawyer, no? Ako naman, I just want to give it back. And I do busy myself with this pro bono cases naman. Especially, shoutout din sa, doon sa chapter ko, sa Manila Chapter 3 ng Integrated Bar of the Philippines, and doon sa mga walang pambayad ng abogado, our chapter is ready to help you.
Wow, shout out chapter 3.
Mhm.
Wow, so gusto kong balikan yung name, no?
Yeah.
The 16 Eduardo Quintos.
Yeah.
16. So anong number na tayo ngayon?
As far as I recall, Vin Diesel na the 30th triple X na So, kasi we write it in Roman numerals, so 30 would be triple X.
Wow.
Wait,
Sana
so,
ako na nga lang yun.
automatic ba yun pag may lalaki sa angkan?
Yeah, during my time, in my generation, actually I was the second generation. The first was my dad's, and then the second us. So, during our time, whoever gets born, a male born under the lineage, would get the number. But right now, some of our cousins are following the practice. But to me, I have only one son. And because I just don't want to mix it up. The Eduardo is still there. But what I did to my son was, there's a name before the Eduardo, so the Eduardo became a second name. It's now Angelo Eduardo Quintos.
Pero hindi na siya part ng numbers.
Wala na,
Okay.
oo. Pero there was a good experience, no? Not to blemish our name, but when I first went to LA, it was my first time to go to LA. I was held in the airport, in the immigration, for an hour and detained. I was, because it so happened when I was in the immigration, this American officer asked my name. So I gave my name. Eduardo Quintos. So he punched in. And then he looked at me suspiciously. I could not see the camera because I was standing in front of him, and the computer was facing him. So I could not see. And then they escorted me to a detention room. I did not know what was happening. And for an hour, I was waiting. And fortunately, I asked for the restroom, to which I was going to pee. And then when I went out, I was able to pass by the computer. And I saw the screen of the monitor. And I saw my uncle's face. And the officer told me, "Do you know that person?" "Yeah, he's my uncle." And that's the time he asked me, why when we punch your name, it's a different face that comes out. It so happened, I learned, my uncle declared a lost passport with US visa. So there was a red flag on his visa. Then I was taken for the yung alam mo yung backlash passport na may visa.
Oo.
Ako yung pinagsuspetsahan nila. Dinitain ako. Sa galit ko, sabi ko, that's my uncle. Just to clarify things, we have the same name. And I told the American officer, subukan mo yung middle name ko, yung mother's name ko. Di ka na naman. Tingin sila. O yun nga, di lumabas yung mukha ko doon sa US visa ko. Sabi ko, Diyos ko, ano ba to? Kinabahan pa to. And that was the first time I'll be going to the United States. Sabi ko, parang ayoko na yata bumalik.
Last na. Actually, hindi ko, sobrang wala akong pag siguro after na, i-research natin, pwede natin post TikTok. Curious ako, like, sabi niyo up to 30 na yung names.
Yeah.
So like curious ako how that stacks up to like others, like other I guess family, other families. So
Tulad nung mas bata sa akin, I always tell them, the fact that you are named Eduardo Quintos, it may not be written, but lagi mong dala na pangalagaan mo yung pangalan natin. Kasi if one gets a bad story, for example, na-issuean ng warrant of arrest ang isang Eduardo Quintos. Naku, mini mo yun.
lahat. Dami. Dawit
Di ba? Damay. Okay sana kung may nagpadala ng regalo para kay Eduardo Quintos. Anybody can take it eh. Pero paano kung warrant to baris yung isinunsert?
Magtuturuan na lang.
Hindi ako yan. Hindi ako yan. Nagkaloko ako.
On the positive note din, no? If someone with Eduardo Quintos does something good
Yeah.
for the community or, di ba? Lahat pwedeng...
Damay lahat.
Well, actually, in my practice, in court litigation, my uncle who used to be a judge or practitioner in court before becoming a judge, nakuha ko yung benepisyo. Kasi, iba na rin yun. Pagdating mo sa korte, medyo maganda impression sa'yo because of your peers. No? At the same time, yung mga kalaban mong abogado na medyo senior sa'yo, pamangking ka pala nila ganito, pamangking ka pala. You're given the benefit of the doubt. Yun yung mga positive. And at the same time, people who was natulungan one time or another ng iyong peers, definitely they would have a very, very light perception or a good perception pagdating sa iyo. Kasi you are a relative of someone that they do love, someone that they do respect, and someone who have previously helped them before. I think that is yung pinamana ng lolo namin na gusto niyang ituloy. And that's one reason siguro kung bakit pinangalan. Kasi kung negative yun, definitely, di ba, in all normal situations, a father would like to name his first son the name that he has. Definitely, hindi ayaw mo naman ipamana kung negative yung reputasyon mo, di ba? Ikaw yung nag-serve ka ng 40 years in jail, tapos yung pangalan mo, hindi naman. So basically, if I put my shoes in my grandfather's shoes, he left a very good reputation that he wants us to benefit from. And to the young ones that followed me in the name Eduardo Quintos, I always tell them, there are tests, challenges that you face in life. Pero try and always put in your mind yung halaga ng pangalan natin. Huwag kang magpapakasira sa ganito. Kasi marami. Medyo malaki na yung magigiba mo pag nagpakasira ka. Well, that's a story of our name.
May question ako regarding sa Quintos name. I know kilala kayo sa Sampaloc kasi even us, kilala kayo. Yung street ba nun, sa inyo galing yung pangalan?
Well, actually, streets are named just not bought or we do not own that. It's just a recognition of the good things that you did in government. It so happened, my grandfather, siya yung naging chief of police ng Manila, and then became councilor. Kasabay niya sila Senator Ernesto Maceda. Sila
okay, kaya may Maceda rin sa atin.
kaya may Maceda. Tapos sila Councilor Legarda. Actually, they are named, these are officials that are named in streets just to recognize their good deeds. And it was my grandfather who is the name Eduardo Quintos Street. So, medyo hindi lang napapansin sa dulo kasi doon sa name tag, may senior yun. Kaya pag may nagtatanong sa amin, binili nyo ba yung kwali? Hindi sa amin yan.
Ako alam kung may senior kasi taga doon ako. So,
correct.
Quintos senior talaga yung nakalagay.
Correct.
Pero pag syempre casually, just call it taga
Yeah,
Quintos
Quintos
ka, sa
Street,
Quintos ka nakatira. I want to touch yung sa pagiging lawyer din. Kasi ngayon, that's what you do mostly. No?
Yeah.
Did you always want to be a lawyer or was it because my family
Ayan.
is
Gandang tanong yan. Well, when I was in college, I took AB Political Science. Sa totoo lang, ang gusto ko noon, physical therapy. But it was a quota course. In UP, you have to wait because there are only 2 sections allowed in physical therapy. So, I enrolled in my second choice in political science. And there were lots of readings, books, and sabi ko, kasi my background when I was in high school, I graduated from Manila Science High School, which is a very much mga science yan no? Kaya parang bagong mundo sa akin yung political science kasi puro history, anthropology, humanities, political thinkers. So there were lots of books being read. So I had to stay. Unfortunately, I had to wait for 2 years and sadly, there was no student backing out from the physical therapy course. Antay ako lang.
nag-enjoy sila.
My God, sabi ko kahit isa o dalawa, makabalik. Yung medyo magpa-delay man lang, di ba? Para may mag-open na slot. So wala naman. So I was entering third year. Sabi ko, tapusin ko na nga to. Medyo nag-enjoy na rin ako eh. Nagbabasa-basa na ako eh. Kasi interesting na. It's about Machiavelli. It's about Aristotle. It's about different kinds of government and how it came to be, how it ended, and how it evolved. Yan, very interesting na. Especially government na. Politics and government na yung mga major subjects eh. So, it got my interest and I finished my political science. Aktivista pa nga ako noon eh sa UP. Makibang.
Makibang.
Oo. Karapatan ng estudyante. Yan, di ba? So, I had my part there. After graduating, so I was contemplating, what will I do? What job will I take? Eh, ayaw ko ng hate na hate ko maging teacher. Baka mabawian ako eh. yung mga yung mga kanotihan ko noon, mabalikan sa akin, di ba? So my father asked me and my mom told me, ano ba, magtatrabaho ka ba? I graduated, I was an Octoberian, so I graduated in October. So from October up to April, I was tambay lang, bumming around. Party sa kaliwa, inom sa kanan, puyat sa kaliwa, lakad sa kanan. I mean, all the things that a bachelor would do. And then, sabi ko, nung inupuan na ako ng nanay ko, upo ka na, serious talk na. Ano ba gusto mo sa buhay mo? So that's what made me decide. Kasi my mom told me, if you're not going to work, you better study. So sabi ko, sige, subukan ko nga law school. I tried. At first, I was enrolled in BEDA. San BEDA, College of Law. Medyo talagang, kumbaga sa damit ayaw mag-fit. Kahit anong sukat gawin mo, medyo ayaw sumakto. Parang kulang. So I had to transfer. Basically, I was not doing good in San BEDA. And there was something lacking. So I opted, sabayan ko kaya ng trabaho. I mean, studying full-time became boring for me. Para bang burnout ka. Kaya sabi ko, law school naman gabi. So, luckily, I was employed in the government. So, I continued my law school in San Sebastian under the supervision of now a father, Father Henry Santiago. And my dean was the very famous, shoutout din kay Congressman Dean Rufus Rodriguez. He's my dean and I was a favorite student of his na lagi ako tinatawag because of my misdeeds. No? Pero I was a favorite. And then I struggled. I was able to finish in 97 and pass the bar in 98. So, yun na. Medyo bago na mundo ko. When I attained my license, medyo tapos na ako doon sa mga dapat pagdaanan ng isang binata. And eventually, after a couple of years, I settled down with my wife.
Sorry, what were you doing nung nag-take up ka ng law school? Ano mismo yung trabaho mo
Well,
sa government?
It's not a high position, government position. Actually, I started as a utility. Maraming hindi naniniwala. Nakakala nila, because I'm coming from a political clan, tipong parang ang dating may kaya, mayaman ka. No. With all frankness and truthfulness, I mop the floors, I wipe the tabletops. And I was so lucky because my co-workers were seniors. Alam mo naman, pagka ang katrabaho mo medyo matanda, they would take care of you as para kang anak.
Yes.
O nakababatang kapatid. Though you do the manual work, you're treated as family. So I was very, very fortunate in my job there.
Nice. And then yun eventually, I think you wanted to pursue were you
Yeah.
seeing kasi kahit siguro kahit utility or you're cleaning and stuff, you see things and that interested you then.
Oh, yeah. I was so fortunate enough. Yung boss ko na hepe dun sa office mismo, ihati niya pa ako sa beda noon. He'll drop me off in San Beda. At parang tatay, nagtatanong niya, may baon ka ba? And he would even add to my allowance. He'll give me 50 pesos pa. And that was a big thing
Laki
then.
yan.
Oo. And I was so fortunate. You know why? Why my seniors and my directors are that? Because there was a time when my uncle and dad worked in government At yung happy ngayon, katrabaho nila.
Yeah. Siya,
So,
paying
I
it
mean-
forward.
Pay it forward. So I do.
Nice.
Tama yung word mo. Pay it forward. And I still believe in that. That's why sometimes my wife would ask me, ba't mo ginagawa yun? No. Don't ask for any return. You don't know. It may be for our child. It may be for our children in the future.
That's
Or for someone we don't know. You just do what you want. You just do what you can help to others. And
Yeah, agree.
just like my uncle, my grandfather. When I entered to work, I did not expect that my boss would be a co-worker of my dad. My lady boss was even acquainted with my uncle. Oh, she's a very good friend of my uncle. So, di parang ang dami kong nanay. Dami ko ng tatay. Dami ko pa nanay sa opisina, di ba? So, I was very, very, very fortunate dun.
Yeah, I agree na ang dami ko kasing kilalang tao, alam mo yun, tumutulong lang sila for the sake na magkaroon ng utang loob yung ibang
may
tao.
kapalit na yun.
Baga nag-aantay silang kapalit, like pag ako naman nangailangan sa susunod, dapat tulungan din ako nito. Ganun yung mentality nila. And it goes both ways din na hindi lang siya paggawa ng tama or pagtulong. Sa rin like if you do bad deeds, babalik at babalik din siya sa'yo. It's like karma. I mean,
Totoo.
hindi directly kailangan sa'yo bumalik, pwedeng sa anak mo, sa mga kilala mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned kanina you had your struggles while you're studying in law school.
Oo,
Yeah.
kasi...
What made you like parang di mo pinili sumuko? Kasi alam ko ikaw, 'di ba, nagbalak ka dati.
Sige.
Parang gusto mo.
Hindi
Well,
na,
ikaw na magkwento,
ikaw lang
ikaw na
saglit.
magkwento.
No? Like, kasi UST ako nag-aaral. Taga Quintos ako actually, Quintos Street. So, yung pinili kong course noon was political science. Kasi sabi sa akin, pag gusto mo mag-lawyer, ito yung okay, political science. Sige, yun yung pinili ko. Tas, ang second option ko pinili was communication arts, which is also pwede din pala
Yes,
sa
yes,
lawyer.
that's
Sabi ko, sige, backup plan in case ano. So, political science na. And then, parang nag-cold feet ako nung siguro a day before, or a few days before the start. Sabi ko, ayaw maging teacher. Sabi nila, pag hindi ka nag-workout sa lawyer teacher. Sabi ko, hindi ko kaya maging teacher or something. So, long story short, parang pinilit kong ipalitan. So, nag-commerce ako. Kasi na-feel ko na hindi ko kaya yung commitment kasi after you finish your 4-year course, there's another how many years of grind to 5?
4 to 5.
Yeah, right. So parang sabi ko, di ko kaya. So I think yun yung talagang sa'yo, like, were there struggles there or like,
Yeah, definitely there are struggles, But I was fortunate enough that in my situation at that time, my back was against the wall already. We were struggling in life, trying to make ends meet. And my father was gone already when I was in law school, and it was only my mother. My brothers were only the ones sustaining for us to tide over the expenses. So for me at that time, there's no backing out, no? If your back is against the wall, all you could do is move forward. You cannot just say stay put in where you are. Despite the struggles, the challenges, go lang. One of the struggles then, I had no money. Law books are expensive.
for sure.
So for me to survive in law school, the only money that I have was only sufficient to have it Xerox.
Yes.
Piece by piece. I could not buy the whole book itself. Because a book at that time, one volume is around $1,000 already.
Mahal yun.
And it's around 4 to 5 volumes. It's not just one volume. So, and every now and then, buti na lang, mura pa Xerox nun sa Recto.
Recto.
Mga around 25 centavos. And I had a good friend who operates a Xerox machine. So, mas discounted pa ako. So, I tried to Xerox piece by piece. When I graduated nga in law school, my kumpanyero, my classmate nga would always joke around na, yan si Quintos. Alam ko, dalawa lang ang libro niyan eh. Kasi,
Puro papel na yun.
kasi I never bought, with all due courtesy sa authors ng law books, yes, I would love to buy it if I had.
Yes.
Siguro kasi ang mamahal no? Pupunta pa nga ako sa printing ng Rex bookstore Kasi meron silang, you call softbound, mas mura yon. Yung parang brown paper lang ang print.
Oy,
Mas mura yon kaysa naman doon sa puti ang papel. So, tsaka every 2 years, nagre-revise. So, yung binili mo nung first year,
Hindi
by the time you graduate at magre-review ka na, medyo meron ng revise, updated na. So you have to buy it again.
Uso na din ba before yung yung kunwari yung mga upperclassmen, bibenta nila yung luma nilang book tas mas mura?
Hindi na nga maigawang ganun kasi
Nag-update.
Kasi nag-update na.
nag-update may mga jurisprudence. And I remember once kilala ko, yung favorite din ako nun. He's now a justice in the Court of Appeals. Na tinawag nga ako noon. Quintos, I was prepared for that day. Talagang sinunog ko yung libro ko. Talagang sunog. So all the questions he asked, I was able to answer. To such a point, he grabbed his book, looked for a case, and asked me what was the case about. To which I argued, sir, wala sa libro. Ano wala sa libro? Meron. Sir, wala. So I brought him my book. Sabi ko, sir, wala.
Wala sa libro mo.
Sabi niya, Quintos, diyan ka mali. Ginawa niya yung libro. Pagbukas niya yung libro niya, meron siya. Sabi ko, ba't ikaw meron? O, tingnan mo yun. Ano ba
Mga
sa'yo?
edition.
1993 edition sa'yo. Akin, 1995. So,
Hirap naman.
that was an example of the struggles then. At the same time, the first struggle is yung kapag first year ka, ang pinakamaingay sa law school first year. Talagang pagka-break, nagdi-discuss yan. Nagtatalo na para bang full-blown lawyers na yan. Not knowing, they don't know yet everything. Pero ang culture shock talaga sa law school when you finish second year. Kasi ang turning point is, after second year, are you still going to pursue your law school on the third year? You know why? The first temptation is, yung mga kabatch mo, magaganda na pwesto sa pribado. They may now be managers, superiors, or now they have their own car. They're now clothed with a long sleeve and necktie or supervisory work. Medyo good na sila. Ikaw, nagpapakasunog ka pa ng kilay at naglalakad ka pa rin sa rekto. Are you going to give in to that temptation of bitawan ko na to kasi naiiwan na ako sa career ladder? At the same time, on top of it, nasasabon ka, nilalait ka sa loob ng classroom, sinisigawan ka, bagsak ka sa exam. So, most often, law students would give in pagtapos ng second year. Pero pagkatapos mo ron, and you have accepted the world of lawyering, sapa ka na ng third year. Serious ka na nun. Kaya pagdating ng fourth year, nakikita mo ang tahimik ng fourth year student. Ang hawak, kodal, sa kaliwa. Ang hawak sa kanan, rosaryo.
Last
Kasi
push.
the closer you get to the bar examinations, the more closer you become with God, asking for His help. Diba?
Yun pala yung pinaka moment na lahat kumakapa.
When I took the bar and I did the walk from, it was in LaSalle Taft kasi. So, I did the walk from the corner in Taft Avenue going to the gate of LaSalle. Nakikita niyo naman pag may bar ops, di ba? Ang ingay, may banda, may chilling squad. When I was a candidate, wala akong narinig. And I felt numb.
Focus.
When I was walking towards the gate, and I felt that I was going, papunta na ako doon sa pagbibitayan ko.
How hard? Gaano kahirap yung bar exam? Like,
Well,
just give us an idea.
Now that I'm a lawyer, I can only say that what the bar exam is testing you is your composure. Definitely, you have answers to everything. It's the way you justify your answer, kung paano mo tayuan yung sagot mo, how you argue. Siyempre, medyo inclined ka naman dun sa tama. But technically, what I think the bar would try to test every candidate is the composure in attacking an issue. Kasi there would be questions, what if you're the defense counsel? At the same time, what if you're the prosecutor? And at the same time, what if you're the judge? So in all aspects,
point of view.
kasi in the three positions that was asked of you, only lawyers are qualified to do that.
Yeah.
So you can be any of those three. So how would you deal with it? Kaya sabi ko doon sa mga candidate, kumain kayo ng almusal, magkape kayo, kung nagyoyosi ka, magyosi ka muna ng isa o dalawang stick, tapos huminga ka ng malalim, relax lang.
So yung mindset talaga. Kailangan ikaw mismo prepared ka kasi alam mo na yung mga sagot, like alam mo na lahat, pero doon ka maa-atake sa kumbaga pressure and
After no exam, how confident were you na pasado ka?
Ay, hindi. Para ka nasa purgatorio.
wala pa lang immediate na kabado pa din.
Walang immediate result. Unlike before, kasi during my time, there are 4 Sundays that you take it, the whole day. 4 whole Sundays. So it would take you a month. And after that, you're going to wait for the results after Holy Week.
Tagal.
So mga 6 months. 6 months kang in cloud 9 or na hindi mo malaman kung nasa langit ka na o nasa impyerno ka na. Nasa purgatorio ka lang. Hindi mo malaman kung magbabasa ka na ba kasi dahil hindi ka na pumasa. O baka naman gusto mo na mag-celebrate pero hindi ka naman sigurado kung pumasa ka. Diba? I mean,
tagal.
all you have to do is just kapit ka lang sa pananampalataya. Diba?
Can anyone take the bar?
No, you have to petition the Supreme Court and you have to prove that in the Supreme Court you were able to get the sufficient formal training of a law school. And the law school would certify that you are an able candidate from their camp, to which you have to secure the clearance and the go signal of the Supreme Court.
Iba pala sa atin.
Micros.
Sa Suits, yung TV series kay Suits, putik, bar exam, di nag-aral. Ewan ko kung sa US, ganun. But, well, if okay lang siyang i-disclose, no, what kind of cases, we don't need to go into specifics, but like, ano yung mga tipo ng cases that you usually deal with on a regular basis?
Right now, my pro bono cases, when you say pro bono, yun yung mga libre na binibigyan mo assistance. Yung mga pro bono cases, most often are criminal cases. Yung mga petty criminal na physical injuries, grave death. Tapos, some of the civil cases naman, yun yung ejectment, naniningil ng utang, pangakong hindi tinupad, di ba? Right now, annulment, hindi mo na ako natanggap kasi ang hirap eh. May sinasabi ko naman sa kliyente, when it comes to annulment, it's not easy. As they may believe it to be na parang andali ng annulment when you see it in the movies, when you see it in the TVs. No, it's not easy.
Naabot ng taon yun, no?
Oh, at hindi lang taon. I mean, hindi basta-basta binibigay yung approval ng annulment. Most often, denied yan.
Especially, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is because we're a mainly Christian Catholic country.
I think so.
Right?
There's I think so. To my personal opinion lang, the church not intentionally influences the lawmakers, but it has its effects.
Yeah.
It has its effect, no?
No, parang if kaya, stay together.
Kasi our faith on different sectors, no? They express they're not silent on their views when it comes to annulment. They may not order you, but they would try to make you hear what they think about annulment. They do not impose on you, but they do let you hear what they think about annulment, no? Separation. So we're basically a faithful believer in our faith, no? Magkakaiba man ng sektor, Katoliko, Iglesia, Mormons, they do have their own opinion about separation or dissolution of marriages. Yeah.
Gotcha. Siguro, usually, a case, a normal criminal, yun nga, yung mga parang petty crimes, like, how long usually does it last? No? Parang, from you speaking to your, your client or the person you're helping until it's resolved, usually how?
Number one, petty cases most often can be resolved out of court or through mediation. It so happen why it reaches the court, probably it's just a matter of pride and emotions, no? And stubbornness. And by the time they face the complainant or the defendant faces the court, to which the court would also advise, you can resolve this in a simple manner rather than going to the specifics, going to the technicalities, to the merits of the case, such as when you say about physical injuries, a tap in the hand, and yet it would reach the court. Hassle, man. Diba?
Kung judge ako, baka makamot ulo na lang ako sa ganung case.
Magagalit talaga. I mean, it's just a waste of time na just because of pride.
Especially because there are also important cases that need to be...
Yes, definitely. There are more important cases rather than tinitigan lang o pinituhan o minamaliit ako kasi niyan. I mean, those reasons are very much resolvable. Diba?
Previously ba, you're handling talagang mga actual client cases?
Ang masarap i-handle is corporate. Kasi most often sa corporate is, you don't usually go to courts. You go to agencies. You talk about contracts. You talk about deals, transactions. Most often, inuupuan naman yun. At before you close a contract or before you close a transaction, maayos na siya. So, hindi ganong kataxing sa corporate.
Yeah.
Diba? Unless, in corporate, kapag kalaban mo government, yan. Medyo taxing yan.
Mahirap.
Stressful yan. Pero most often, sa corporate, for you to have a problem with government, most often about taxes yun. And obligations to the government. Mga ganun.
Pretty much clear naman sa atin yung anong ginagawa ng lawyer, no? Pero ako, personally, hindi ko din, like you mentioned, you've had 2 terms ba as a counselor?
In politics naman, I had 2 terms. It was in 2010 to 2013. And it was Mayor Lim's time. He was the mayor. And my second term was in 2016 to 2019. It was President Joseph Estrada, who was the mayor of Manila at that time. So I was fortunate enough to have worked with 2 mayors at that time. And ayun nga pala, batiin ko lang din ang aking boss, no? So our beloved President Joseph Estrada. I hope you get well soon, sir.
What is parang what goes on in the day of a counselor?
Well, that's a different world from the practice of law kasi it's a different discipline. Sa politics, my frustration there is, it's hard when you say immediately the truth and the bare truth to a person. In politics, they will get mad at you. But in the practice of law, that's your obligation,
Yes.
right? So in politics, sometimes when I say what is my diagnosis of something or what I think about something, there would be people who would not appreciate in a way that I want to help them the reason why I'm telling them the truth. They would take it against you. In politics, para bang kailangan medyo baluktutin mo yata yung prinsipyo mo sa buhay na you don't immediately tell them the truth.
Kailangan medyo sugar-coated.
Yeah,
minsan
mga
para-
ganon. I mean, next week would be filing of candidacy. Candidates would now be flooding the streets, the corners. My frustration is, I don't know what are the parameters of a voter uses to pick who among the candidates they would choose.
Yeah,
It's very
Hirap
frustrating.
din.
Candidates should tell first what are the problems right now.
Right.
Because government, the officials that we are bound to elect next year are the same people who would talk for us, who would try to resolve the problem that we have now. Hindi lang yung kung sino ka nakatanggap eh. Diba? I mean, at kung sino yung inendorso. No, isang bagay lang na that frustrates me ng malaki is yung when you vote, we are in a democratic government, in a republic. The reason why we are called Republic of the Philippines is our government is through representation. Representation of the public. That's why republic. So we elect our president. We elect our vice president. We elect our governor, vice governor, our councilors, our city councilors, our provincial councilors. All the officials that gets elected because they represent us. Now, kapag ang pinili mo magre-represent sa atin dahil pogi lang o magaling kumanta,
Sumasayaw pa yung iba.
sumasayaw pa. Actually, nag-iintay na lang ako yung magmamagic sa entablado.
Pwede, I think baka this time
Pwede
gagawa.
nyo try, pwede nyo try.
Diba? I mean, kasi joking aside, kawawa naman. I mean,
Popularity contest.
how does the voter how serious do they take the problems that we have now?
Yeah.
And they could lightly choose among the candidates as if you're choosing for a band.
And then,
na BTS. Na parang gano'n lang, sino ba?
and then magagalit sila
Oo.
kapag walang changes.
ginagawa.
So, wala ka naman nangyayari eh.
Parang ang dating tuloy ng eleksyon natin, America's Got Talent. Diba? Parang, it's very sad. We have to educate. Basically to talk about my district and to talk about the city of Manila. City of Manila is now burdened with a serious problem. As a councilor before, the problems that we had before compared to the problems that we have now, napakalaki ng problema ngayon. What I heard, the city is burdened with billions of loan.
Oh, Manila.
Yes, Manila. And I'm there. I was a councilor. When we went down in 2019, you can take my word, and I was a councilor then, that the city has no debt. Not even a single centavo.
Oh, was it because of COVID kaya? Like, how did...
No, it was not a loan to address COVID because the national government was able to supplement, to provide, to which the local government also had its own budget supplemented by the national to sustain for the pandemic era. No? What I know is Manila is now burdened with billions of loans to which it needs to be addressed. Siyempre, ang utang,
Kailangan bayaran?
binabayaran. And it's not a couple of millions.
Billions.
Billions. I really don't know, but the council decided then to allow, actually at the end part of the pandemic era, to develop and put up a new structure of public schools at that time, which cost billions. No? And I hope the people would understand that these loans would be paid, would need to be paid. And where would the money come from?
Tax.
And taxes comes from
The people.
So, it is not enough that you see a new structure in front of you. Would you be happy if I address you a question? Na pag ako ng utang, malaman mo ikaw magbabayad.
Lugi.
Would you be happy with that?
No, for sure not.
And ang worst nun, naipaliwanag ko ba sa'yo bago ako ng utang?
Kung
na ikaw
ano, kung bakit.
magbabayad?
Saka kung
Yes.
anong...
I mean, I hope people get to their senses na it's not enough that you give me a pack of food one time or another and ask that I vote for you.
Yeah.
But in reality, you made a loan. You allowed a loan to be made to which I'll be burdened to pay in the next 25 years to come.
So actually, correct me if I'm wrong, no? Whoever, siguro, people who will assume office for the next run, burden nila to pay the
If you elect someone who doesn't care,
ayan.
they would just try to weather out the storm. Kasi 3 years lang naman ang termino. Hayaan mo nang iba ang sumalo niyan. Matapos lang ako, problemahin na ng susunod. It can be. I'm not saying that it is. But a person who doesn't want to address the problem immediately, pwede. Kaya nga, ang tanong dapat sa kandidato, kailan mo gusto tapusin yung problema yan?
Yeah.
Diba?
Actionable. Dapat din like may
What
exact
can you
plan.
do in the next 3 years if I vote for you and you get elected to that position? How much can you do to resolve the problem that we have? It's not enough that you provide food. It's not enough that you plant flowers or whatever. Huwag na yung mga pabalat kayo. I mean, anong magagawa mong solusyon sa ganitong problema? I'm not blaming you dahil hindi naman ikaw ang gumawa. But you're asking for the position and the position asks of you to resolve this problem. Ano gagawin mo? Dapat ganun ang tanong sa kandidato eh. Hindi yung ang susunod ko pong kanta ay para sa...
Start na ba ng campaign season in a few
Hindi
weeks?
pa naman.
Filing
pero-
pa
Filing pa lang next month.
Filing kaya lang under the law, if you're not yet a candidate, you can do whatever. You're not bound. You're not violating anything. So,
Oh, so pwedeng nagka-campaign na siya indirectly
Correct.
before you...
actually, hindi na indirectly. Directly na. Kasi you're not... yun eh. If you're not yet a candidate, Meaning to say,
Malaya ka pa.
malaya ka
What's
ba?
usually yung deadline to submit?
I think election period would start at the end of February or early March.
Deadline to submit,
Filing would be October 1 up to October 8.
1 week, ano lang.
1 week lang. And yet, even though you file your candidacy, you're still not a candidate under the law.
Mm.
So, pwede ka nang magsasabit, magsasayaw, mag-donate, usungin yan, magbigay. Madami ngayon Santa Claus.
Anyone can file for a candidacy.
As long as your age of majority, meaning to say 18 and above, I think a city councilor is around 22 years old or above. Tapos, may mga age, depende sa pwesto. Sa senatorial, I think you must be 45 years old above. Sa congressional, must be 35 years old above. Sa mayor yata, parang 25 or something. I really don't know about the local.
Yeah.
How I wish if there would be a public debate, not actually debate. Yung kung sino yung tumatakbong mga mayor, sila. Let them face the people.
Mm.
Huwag yung pala nila. Talagang yung public.
Mm.
And there would be a good arbiter. Tapos lahat ng tumatakbong councilors, sama-sama, let them speak. Let them answer the right the questions propounded by the people themselves.
Never ako nakakita ng ganun actually. Na, hindi debate parang na ganung way of campaigning na parang talagang you
Alam
just
mo,
hear what the
When I entered politics, ayun din frustration ko eh. Kasi, syempre, ang mahina, iiwas eh.
Oo.
Yung walang alam, iiwas eh. Yung hindi niya alam ang trabaho ng tinatakbuhan niya.
baka ma-expose ka.
Oo eh. Basta mag-iiba siya ng entablado kung saan may song and dance number, may parapol, may pabingo.
Mm.
Yung mga gimmick na para lang to catch attention from the people. And they would just read yung scripted speech nila. Alam mo, natatawa nga ako eh. Sa politiko, di ba, dapat spontaneous ka as you adjust to the kind of audience that you have.
Yeah.
Pero ngayon, try to look at their campaign. Kung ano yung speech dito, yun na rin yun. Parang paulit-ulit na plaka. So meaning to say, walang connection doon sa audience. It's just like pretending.
Yeah.
It's just like a play on a road show.
Parang concert lang eh, play set list na.
Oo, diba? Sabi ko, ano kaya to? Ako po si ganito, ako po si ganyan, ako po anak ni ganito, matagal na po kaming naglilingkod, sana po iboto niyo po kami muli at maituloy ko ang kanilang programa. I thank you. buti pa beauty contest eh.
Pero I think siguro ano din, call out ko din yung mga tayo, public. Kasi kaya gumagana eh. Like gumagana yung mga paraffol, gumagana. Like, so siguro the voting public then like siguro mas kailangan maintindihan natin ano ba yung long term. Like think long term. I think kasi short term kasi usually mag-isip. Ayaw ko sabihin Pinoy, no? Like I think tao. Minsan hindi na natin iniisip yung ano ba yung talagang consequence ng mga ginagawa natin.
My dream is now in the election is to wake up and try to steer, or meaning to say to stimulate the attention of the working class in our place in Manila. You know why? We are the ones burdened with the taxes. Taxes that we pay, ito totoo lang, opinion lang, are taken away by corruption, graft, and what is left shall go to, not to us, only to those underprivileged who doesn't pay their taxes.
Mm-mm.
So, kanino nagbi-build up ang burden? Sa balikat ng working class.
Exactly.
Totoo.
Doon sa wealthy, they don't give a damn kasi ang dami kwarta niyan eh.
Yes.
Bayad lang ako and bahala na kayo dyan.
Mm.
Pero sa ating mga tipong nagtatrabaho for a day just to put food on our table, a big chunk of our income goes to taxes.
Mm-mm.
And these taxes are played along by our representatives. And our representatives, most often, would like to grandstand not to us working classes, but to the underprivileged.
Exactly. Parang gano'n na lang yung cycle eh.
Mm.
Parang
Hindi natututo yung mga Pinoy.
I mean-
sabihin ko na Pinoy. Ito
Di ba?
naman.
Parang, kailan naman dun sa working class? We're not asking so much. what the working class would ask is yung ikabuti ng infrastructure natin, yung mga public hospitals natin, public roads, traffic, lahat na lang pinaparadahan. Ginawang parking area. That one topic of that is I very, very disappointed. Kasi there are also lawyers in our city council. How come they allow that roads are made to be parking areas?
Exactly. Kaya pet peeve galit na ganito.
A lawyer, all lawyers know this. Roads and sidewalks are beyond commerce of men. Hindi siya pwedeng maging subject ng isang contract. Kung ano purpose niya, yun lang ang purpose niya. It can never be given a different purpose or additional purpose. The roads are very clear. What is the purpose? For roadway. But when you go to Manila, bakit naniningil ng parking? Why is it made as a parking area? And the city council allows it. Aren't they aware of the jurisprudence and the law itself? Parang hindi nyo ba alam? Bakit ganon? Well, right now, masaya nga eh. Parang I saw recently, parang nag-aaway-away yata sila sa konseho ng Maynila. And naiva-viral pa yata na, how do you call this? Nasa mga Facebook, nasa YouTube, o whatever.
Is that, yun ba yung video na pinakita mo? Yun yan? Nakita mo ba yun? Gusto mo tignan?
Sige nga, play natin.
Andun, sino bang nandun?
Nakakonsehal yun.
Sino to? Sa ano
Nakita
to?
mo na po siya?
Yan, kita ko yan.
Anong ano to?
Pinag-aawayan nila, passage of a budget of the city in the next year.
And these are
Councilors.
Maling magsusuntukan na ata eh.
Ba't sila? Well, para lahat sila galit. Hindi ko maintindihan nung pinag-aawayan nila, to be honest.
Hindi, audible.
Uy, parang alam niyo yung meme yung yung Japanese yung may meme na gano'n eh, parang din, sa Japan ata, yung tinatry niyang kunin yung mic. Nako.
Bakit parang walang
Wait, sige, papakita natin yan dito, pero, anong niyan? Like, anong topic nila?
Parang naging
specifically?
unprofessional na.
Well, basically, but before that topic, before that scuffle, I just want to give you a background of who are they, these councilors, why are they in such an argument. Basically, before, when election was still far, they're just in one camp, all of them, magkakapartido in short. But as one of their partners in the political party declared that one will be running against the other, doon na sila nagkahiwa-hiwalay ng kulay. And it has its consequences. When a party is broken down into two opposing parties, or more than two opposing parties, the abuse of the majority comes. I don't know if they're going to speak about it. In the council kasi it's composed of 36 councilors and 2 representatives from the sector of the barangay chairman and the sectors of the Sangguniang Kabataan. So, a total of 38 councilors. Well, I really don't know where it started, the myth of having a majority and minority camp. Well, it's just a creation of the mind, not recognized by the law, but most often practiced. Those who conglomerate together, those who combine together, and would total to more than half of the membership, they would call themselves majority. The simple meaning of they have the majority, meaning 50 plus 1 of the membership. And those who are left would be called minority. Most often, the majority would be in opposition with the minority. So, before, they were even proud to say that there was no minority in the city council when election was still far.
Ano sila, United
Oh,
Front?
United. Actually, as far as I can recall, their political party in 2022 had a 1% winning rate. 100% winning rate. So all of their candidates was able to fill up the position. So, super majority. Meaning to say, no minority existed. But when the sea was divided into two, ngayon maririnig mo naman. Now, question ko lang. Isn't it dangerous for our people to vote for those who goes together? It's better to have opposing
Yes.
opinions because people gets to know what's happening inside. That's the benefit that we get.
Tama.
I'm not siding with anyone in that city council. What I'm siding at is people get to notice and learn what is happening. Why was there a scuffle? And someone would answer, it's about the budget. Bakit? Anong problema sa budget? Kasi 25 billion ang proposal. Bakit naging 25? Curiosity would now set in. Information would now be disseminated. What happens kung hindi nahati yung dagat? Do you think
Wala. Ano pa din?
would there be
Concealed.
curiosity? One thing that passed their minds during the pandemic was the sale of a public divisoria public market. It was sold by the city, by the representatives of the city,
Kanino nang nakapunta?
to a Chinese businessman.
Well, actually, ko lang naman, public ano pa lang si Visoria before.
Yes, the land is owned by the city, which is rented out. And I think the structure, I'm not sure about the structure, but I remember when I was young, it was a BOT project, build, operate, and transfer. So all throughout the years, the building now belongs to the city as well, if I'm not mistaken. Not only the lot, but also the building is owned by the city. And the reason why it was sold, when it was questioned during election, the rates of rental are too low and the city was losing money daw. It was their decision. The opposing camp who questioned the sale, ang tinanong lang kung nalulugi lang pala ang upa. Maski yung nangungupahan sinasabi, titaasan nyo na lang yung upa. Ba't kailangan ibenta? And suddenly, after the election, this issue was never again addressed. Tago na muna.
Kalimutan na lang.
The frustration I have with the city council is the people does not realize how valuable and how strong the city council is. Ang paniwala kasi ng tao, ang nagdidikta at nagpapatakbo ng gobyerno sa ating lokal ang alkalde. True to such a point, but not all. The one that decides about money is not the mayor. It is the city council. That's why it was created. All city councils, all provincial councils, all municipal councils, even Congress and Senate. That's why the law created it to be plenty. So that different views from different sectors could be discussed before deciding an issue about money. Because if the law intended that it be decided by one, di sana isang tao na lang.
Totoo.
The power of appropriation rests in all councils and Congress. It can never be exercised by the president, by the governor, by the mayor, only in their Congress, councils, and provincial boards. Kung saan marami, nandun ang power of the purse. Yun ang nagde-decide kung mangungutang, may bibilhin, may gagastusin. You see it in the committee hearings of Congress, right? You see it in the committee hearings of Senate. They question, where did you, why did you, how, what. The 5 W's, what, where, when, why, and how much, are being asked by the bodies. Because the power is within the council. In case of Manila, it is the city council. But when you ask the voter, a simple voter, a layman, often they would say, madalas nilang sasabihin, desisyon ng mayor yan. Well, mayor, pinatutupad lang kung ano ang desisyon ng city council.
Okay.
The bad thing about it, kapag ang mayor, pinakaiusapan ka, na iboto mo yung konsihal na nasa slate niya, in the first place, di ka ba nagdududa?
Baka may agenda.
Correct. Bakit niya sasabihin, iboto mo yung konsihal ko kasi kami, wala kaming away? Does it mean pag nag-away sa konseho, does it mean masama na kagad para sa syudad?
I mean, you don't want yes men din, di ba? Parang,
Yes, that's the word that I'm looking for. You don't want to put your councilors as yes men of the mayor. Otherwise, they're only going to be puppets.
yeah, wala nang point.
The burden that we have now for the city, if the councilors were argumentative enough, they should not have merely delegated the power to make loans to the mayor.
Yeah.
Because why would you delegate something that the people entrusted in you?
Actually, I didn't know na ganun pala yung parang
Ako din.
function ng councilors.
Ako
talaga.
alam ko lang mayor ang... Ako, tama yung sinabi niya, alam ko mayor ang lahat. Kasi sila yung, pag pinapakita sa
Parang
TV
shot
sila
caller.
lagi. Oo.
No. If the council doesn't want the mayor's proposal,
Does it work in parang by voting na nangyari
Yeah.
to get something approved?
yeah, the majority
Ah,
would vote. You have to get the majority in order that a measure in the plenary be approved.
and then, is it councilors also who sometimes can pitch or make the proposals? Or
Actually, proposals would originate from council.
councilors? And then, voting.
Yeah, and then voting. So some would be favoring the mayor, some would be opposition. If most of those elected favors the mayor, who call the shots?
Mm-mm. Scripted.
Ha?
The script.
The reason the check and balance that we make in our government structure is this. The mayor is checked by the council and the council is checked by the mayor.
Mm.
But if they go together, would there be checking? Definitely wala.
Wala.
They would be silent
Yes.
and you'll just be surprised of everything that happens.
May tanong ako. Well, unang-una, ano pa ba yung role ng mga ibang position like congressman, vice mayor,
Yeah.
party list?
Kung
Party list may silbi ba yung talaga or
yeah.
pandagdag lang yun sa
Yung party list kasi taken as a Congress representation din, representative. Ang Congress kasi most often used na maling connotation eh. When you say Congress, we address it to be House of Representatives. When you use the word Congress, there are two houses in Congress, House of Representatives and the Senate. Yung mga party lists, they should in principle represent a wide sector in our community. Sectoral representative siya. So when he is elected, the party list is elected, it presumes that there's a certain sector that is represented. Let's say yung mga bukluran na mga namamasada ng tricycle. So malaking sektor yan. O bukluran ng mga pogi. Yan. Yan. Well, I mean, if they get the numbers, actually, ang sabi sa Constitution, at least 2% of the registered voters nationwide. If they do get that number, they now get a seat sa House of Representatives. So, ang tawag din sa kanya, congressman. Tapos yung regular congressman, yun yung per legislative district. So, both congressmen are part of the national government.
Mm.
Sa taas yun. Hindi siya pang lokal. Sa mataas yun.
Okay.
Although kasabay ng congressman natin, ang eleksyon sa lokal, nakikahalubilo. Kasi tayo? Synchronized. Kaya akala nila, may ginagampanan yung congressman natin sa City Hall. Pero basically, wala. Ang nasa City Hall lang, mayor, vice mayor, konsihal. Yung congressman, nandun yun sa batasan.
Okay.
Kapantas nun ang Senado.
Senator, yeah.
Yun. Ngayon, pagdating sa alkalde, just like what you said, a lot of people thinks it is the mayor who has the sole control of running the city. Kaya ang tingin nila sa konsehal, ito, boto natin. Pogi naman to. People don't know the value and the criticalness
Yeah.
of picking the right counselor. Especially the one that can stand up, that could protect their rights and interests. Kasi mahirap maging oposisyon sa loob. Basically, ang nangyayari, pag hindi mo kakampi yung nasa loob, lahat ng pamamaraan ng panggigipit sa'yo, just to bend your back, gagawin sa'yo. But if you do have your principles, you would still stand and not give in to these attacks. Ngayon, kung natatawa pa ako, sa kampanyahan, nakakalungkot kasi ngayon tingnan, na kapag ang pamantayan, kung namimigay ba ng kung ano-ano, pera, goods, or something, kung yan ba ang pamantayan nila, ang gusto kong itanong sana sa kanila, yan ba talaga pinamimigay ng libre? O yan ba may balak bawiin balang araw?
Yan. Usually, parang ganun yata.
Bakit yung dating hindi pa nauupo, medyo maitim pa balat, nung naupo lang ng minsan,
Pumutin.
makinis na. I'm just giving an example, no? Hypothetical, I'm not pertaining to anybody. No?
Huwag na kayo mahula.
Lahat ba dapat ng konsehal ay nakalulan sa mamahaling sasakyan? Kasi I experimented it before when I was still a counselor. Ang service ko, yung multicab lang, na-bear pa yung likod. Yung hindi, yung pimp top na multicab. Ito yung multicab na service, yung bukat sa likod. And people were just opening their eyes wide enough na as if, konsehal, ba't yan ang service mo? Bakit? Hindi naman kalayuan ng Sampaloc sa City Hall. I was just amazed na nakaset up ba sa isip ng isang ordinaryong botante na ang isang konsehal ay dapat lulan ng medyo may brand dahil para bang naka-stereotype na dapat ang itsura may pera.
I think hindi lang konsel, I think anyone na may posisyon sa sa
Naisip
politics,
na agad.
no. Pag SK ka matik naka NMAX ka daw dapat.
NMAX hindi ka pwede ng mga Honda lang, no? Why is that? No,
I'd rather nga na someone na parang mas for the people. Like, hindi, like, alam mo yun, parang,
I mean, you can ride a car, a very humble. Bakit kailangan, why aspire for a Lexus? Why aspire for a wagon? A Benz? An LC? Ang dami ngayon sa gobyernong LC, no?
parang minsan nakala ko, parang company ka.
Para bang, di ba?
Group pa na.
LC?
4M yun. Pinaka ano pa lang.
LC lang, Diyos ko. Parang sasakyan na kahit kailan hindi ako magkakaroon eh. Sa mahal.
Lahat ng
Bakit kailangan ko naman stereotype ba?
I don't know rin pero yun talaga yung pagkakaalam ng mga tao as long as itong taong to may posisyon regardless gaano pa kababa
So,
yung kataas.
so accepted na nila kung corrupt yun.
Yun nga parang saan nanggagaling yun, di ba? Hindi naman, I mean, ang government official na salary is not that high, di ba? Like, it's not, so saan manggagaling yung pangbili na?
Yun nga ang kasi when I was a counselor, I would stay in my office from Monday to Fridays because I drive my wife near City Hall. So I drive her before 8. So by 8, I'm in the office already. And when I go home, my wife goes 7. So around 7 pa ako uuwi ng office. I'll leave my office at 7. So I'll be there the whole day technically. And then, sad to say, I don't see my co-counselors as often as much I was in office, no? I don't know, they have their reasons, no?
Hindi siya required pumunta dun sa office.
Sabi nila, they're only required to appear during sessions. Ako naman, paniwala ko, I'm getting paid by the month. So I have to be there from Mondays to Fridays. Regardless in session or not, I'm bound to report in my office. Kasi yun yung discipline ko na eh. Kaya
Na-work from home pala yung iba na. Kahit
diba?
na before.
Sarap buhay. No, I really don't know. Probably they have their reasons why. But the sad thing is, when I stayed in my office, and people from all walks of life would come and try to seek assistance, most often medical and financial. And I'd be the one na mahuhuli nila kasi wala nga yung iba eh. Diba? As much as often as I could, from my salary, the small amounts that I could provide them, and the endorsement into the hospitals that they need, yun ang ginagawa ko. Kaya lang, when the election time came, ang naririnig ko, ako raw yung mahirap hingan, mahirap lapitan, compared to the people that was not there in the office. Doon ko na pagtanto-tanto, parang natawa na lang ako sa sarili ko kasi there's someone who told me, kasi konsehal, hindi sila tumanggi kasi wala sila roon. Ikaw, nandun ka, tumanggi ka. Kaya sa'yo galit. Doon sa walang nakausap, hindi galit.
Oo nga.
Sabi ko, tawa ko ng tao. Sabi ko, ganun ba ang dynamics ng politics? Sabi ko,
Parang ganun na.
parang
Nalugi. ikaw na nga yung nag-effort. Ikaw pa yung na...
Tapos yung katulad nitong campaign na to, I've been I told you my major is political science, and my thesis was about guns, goons, and politics. Guns, goons, and gold. It's about elections. The variable that I used during my thesis in UP was the form and the things that usually takes place during campaign, and that is using stage, using entertainment, doling out goods, and finally, giving out money. Parang ganun pa rin. And that was 1991. My thesis was that. And I think nothing has changed.
Yeah. Pero, I think, well, it's still early. I mean, September 28 to, no? For you, have you decided on anything? Like, you mentioned na parang you're, well, hindi ba retirement, pero parang you're in a place now where you're kind of just, doing pro bono, you're enjoying then,
Yeah.
I guess. So parang, like going back into politics is gonna be a grind, no? Is that something that you want to get back into, or?
Well, a friend of mine has told me, and my advisor even then before, joining politics is not a thing that you need to impose on yourself. If you want to do it for the better good. But if you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you're not up to it. What he's saying is, if you want to join in politics right now, join it for a good reason. Join for what you believe in. But right now, I'm still contemplating. The way I would campaign, I could easily join. I just want to test if the people still have the right parameters in their mind. I won't give in to the old traditional way of campaigning. I won't even engage in too much spending. I just want them to know that I just want to win so that I could protect their rights and at least resolve the problems that we have. There's no intention of becoming wealthy. I'm too old for that. No. I'm not anymore. I'm already in a reality that I know where I would be in the next 10 years. And I'm contented with that. So if ever I do join politics, there's a good reason that I just want to correct what is wrong right now. And if it's possible, kasi if it's not, I would not anymore join. I just want to ask the people, if you're willing to vote for someone who knows what the job is. If you still appreciate someone that could deliver what we need, okay, I'll join. Pero kung ang view nila is tipong, wag na, bahala na. And the same thing, okay lang. I mean, I won't, after this election, okay lang. Wala na akong magagawa. I mean,
Yeah.
I gave my best. No? It's just one dream that I would like to test one more time. Probably I'd be filing my candidacy. And then I'd do my own way of campaigning. The right way. The right way that I know. Because definitely, money is not a thing to consider during campaign. And when you select a candidate, money should not be a factor.
Yes.
Because the problem, the thing, how deep we are in what we say, in big problems, the money that they offer now is definitely insufficient para makaahon tayo. Hindi naman nila babayaran yung pagkakautang natin eh. Nilagay tayo sa utang, maski anak, apo, kaapu-apuan mo, may utang. And definitely that is something to discuss and cannot be resolved in just one night.
Yeah.
Right.
Process yan. I just have one question before we move on sa less serious topic. Di ba you serve as a councilor like 2 terms before? What were yung mga na-propose mong projects or kung ano man na give me at least one na yung napatupad siya and it's something that you're super proud of?
One thing that I'm super proud of, I was able to introduce the use of the electric vehicle tricycles then, to which became a livelihood for the poor families. In a way na tinulungan mo sila pero hindi mo sila in-spoon-fed.
Yes.
I taught you how to fish.
Opportunity.
The opportunity to earn. It's up to you to improve yourself. And I was very proud that I was able to introduce that. And there were around 350 recipients of those e-tricycles that was able to sustain their family and actually nakabuti naman. But sadly, after the change of government, napabayaan yun. And sadly, I really don't know what happened with that. And another measure that I was able to pass was the protection of the children. Because of the law that you cannot prosecute minor children, those aged below 18. Because there's a law that you cannot prosecute those aged below 15, and those that age below 18 but above 15, you cannot you can only discipline them in such a way. So rampant are the law violators of these minors. Marami ang naging lumalabag sa mga batas ng edad menor de edad. For us to protect ourselves from them, at the same time protect them from themselves, I was able to pass a law that they should be given the disciplinary action of be committed to rehabilitation, and against their parents who abuse them. There was a time that children are made couriers of drugs or couriers of everything, and because of their tender age, they could not be prosecuted.
Yep.
So to protect these children from abusive guardians and parents, I was able to file a measure that these children, though have violated the law, the government can reach the parents to because of the mistakes of the children. You'll be liable. I mean, pag nahuli ang bata na pinagdala mo ng droga, ikaw na magmulang, ikaw ang ikukulong ko.
So para hindi sila hindi na ma-abuse.
Kasi what happens in real life, when you apprehend the child of tender age, the parent knows that the government could not detain the child for a long time. Lalabas yan. Kadalasan pa nga, tutubusin ng magulang. Galit pa yung magulang. Bakit nyo kinukulong yan? Ganon. Kasi during that time, tutubusin nila yung bata, wala naman silang liability.
Yeah.
But because of the law, tubusin mo yung bata, magpakilala ka, establish mo ang relationship mo sa bata bago ko i-release sa'yo. Kasi pag na-establish mo ang relationship mo sa bata, ang maghahabol na sa'yo, gobyerno.
Yeah. I think may ganyan akong sa US ata, parang ang nangyari naman is medyo malala, parang shooting pero yung parent kasi yung bumili ng gun.
Barel.
So yung parent ngayon yung kumbaga siya yung ginigrill sa
Yes.
ano.
And because of the negligence of parents also, there were situations, actually sunod-sunod na sitwasyon nun sa atin, that the negligent parent would be leaving their children of tender age. There was an incident that a fire broke out, and yung magkapatid, isang 9, isang 5, were locked up inside a room, and the door was shut with a nail on the lock outside, so the children would not be able to go out, and she left her children to peddle her nagtitinda. Sabi ko, nagtalo kami ron. Sabi nung isang konsehal, hindi raw ba ako compassionate dun sa magulang? Namatayan na nga ng anak, parurusahan ko pa. My answer to that, Counselor, the law does not express its compassion. Ang hinahanap ng batas ay yung pagkakamali. Let the court decide on the compassionate portion. What we are doing here is we're making the law. But the exercise of discretionary compassion, let the court do it, not us. So, it is improper for you to raise the question, kung naaawa ba ako doon sa namatayan? Yes. But it is not a consideration in the passage of the law.
Yes, tama.
Diba?
Outside of all the the cases and the politics, so parang how do you unwind, like what are you parang hobbies?
Hobby ko doon is when I go home, I do have a year and a half a Samoyed dog, yung white wolf, na yun ang kalaro ko kasi I do have 3 children. My eldest Angelo is around 22, 20 yung daughter ko, and then my youngest daughter is 18. All of them are now in college. So, lambingin ko man, medyo manlalaban na eh. Medyo malalaki na eh. At alam ko ano na kukunin eh. Wallet ko lang kukunin na mga yun eh. So, I do spend a lot of time in my garage, kasi mahilig ako sa old cars. So, yung nagbubuting-puting-ting ng makina, na mga medyo panahon ng tatay o lolo ninyo, yung mga ganon. Kasi it's easy to unwind. All of this are all mechanical. Old cars are all mechanical. Nothing electrical, no? Nothing, wala pa mga computer box. Kaya kung carburetor spark plug lang, kaya pang buting-tingin.
Yeah.
So that's my free time. And ayun, time and again, I would visit the barangays. Some of my friends who would be seeking advices and consultations on how about to run the barangay. So that usually uses up my day on weekends. Yeah.
At least may ano pa din. May
Oo.
relaxation.
Kasi pag hindi ka nag-relax, tatanda ka ron, may stress ka ron. Di ba? Kasi unlike during nung bata ako, nung sa practice, sabi nga nung I was young then and just got married, yung problema ng kliyente ko na iuwi ko sa bahay. I'm worried about what happens to my client. It's not that I don't care. But most often, you don't bring it home.
No, that's true. So I think, as we wrap up, no, is there any parang kind of parting words or something that you really want to share, no, with the audience?
I hope for us and for our children, no, it may be generic for all of us. The changing world is changing, not for the better. From my point of view, we don't need to wait that we hit rock bottom. We are intelligent, all of us, no. We know our boundaries. But now what I see prevalent among us is everybody's concerned about themselves. How would they earn for themselves? How would they benefit for themselves? Regardless of what happens or the consequences with others. Kumbaga self-benefit ang central focus ng bawat isa. Parang okay lang na kumita ako kahit ikasama ng iba. Ito iboboto ko kasi nakakatanggap ako kahit pagnanakawan ng iba. That's very prevalent nowadays, no? I mean, the compassion for others and for the majority we are losing that inch by inch, slowly. And yet, what is frustrating, we can see it in front of us happening. And we're not doing anything about it. A lot of pretensions are happening nowadays. Ang daming nagpapanggap. Ang daming nagiging moralista. Daming nagpapanggap na pilantropo, mapagtulong. I mean, behind this front, what do we see at the back? Is it for the better good? Or it's just a front for us to believe? The people are becoming victims of these pretensions. And it's like para bang panaginip na hindi ka magising-gising. Kahit anong sabihin mo, nagisingin mo sila. As if they don't want to wake up. Imagine this election for the city of Manila from the incumbent themselves. I haven't heard from them. They are seeking for a re-election. But they haven't spoken about what they have done to the problems that we have. Humihingi ka na ng boto. Pero wala ka pa naman sinabing nagawa doon sa problema. Ni banggitin kung ano yung problema, hindi mo binabanggit. So it's a cover-up. Sad, but still there's hope.
Yeah.
There would always be hope. Never lose hope. And one thing that I would always say, as they say it many times, in order that evil triumphs, the good will not do anything. Diba? I mean, in a way, pag pinabayaan natin na wala tayong gawin dahil tayo nasuya, a lot of voters, intelligent voters in my district are already frustrated in casting their votes because they see no results. So out of this frustration, they do not anymore participate. And that's a losing cause. That's what I want to prevent. Everybody should vote responsibly.
Yeah.
But never think not to vote because your vote counts. Regardless of whatever you hear, you must vote. And if ever you do not vote, lalong mamamayagpag
Yeah.
yung mga bagay-bagay. So with that,
Exercise.
maraming salamat, Nix.
Yes,
And
sir.
Calvinator. That's a very, very good discussion, and I'm very much thankful for you
Awesome.
guesting me.
Salamat din.
Thank you,
Exercise
salamat
your
din.
right to vote daw.
O saka, mag-ayos-ayos na kayo ng mindset niyo sa pagboto.
Yeah, thank you, Attorney Bimbo. That has been great. No? We learned, ako personally learned so much. Parang ngayon ko lang din naintindihan ang nangyayari sa loob ng kumbaga local politics.
Oo.
Usually, yun nga, mayor, akala natin mayor lang yung shot caller na gumagawa lang. But yeah, we learned so much, and I'm sure our listeners felt the same. And that said, make sure to like and follow and share, subscribe wherever you see this, may it be on YouTube or TikTok or Spotify. Make sure you're on there as well. So, any last words?
Call to action?
Yeah.
No,
Any-
thank you. And to my kadistritos and sa mga Manileños, I'll see you. I'll be dyan lang, paligid-ligid lang.
Andyan lang.
Shoutout sa Sampaloc.
Oo nga, actually. Ayusin niyo yung pagboto niyo, guys. Alright, guys. That has been it for today. Welcome back to Title Zone, and we'll see you again on the next one. Bye.
Bye. Peace.
Bye.